Management thought they didn't need me, turns out they decided to try and sue me. I was reminded of this story so I figured I'd share, but I'm going to be intentionally vague with the industry for privacy reasons. My post history won't help here lol. Now for some context, this company wasn't new, they had been around for about a decade before I was hired, and as far as I know they're still around, but not sure how they're doing now. When I started there it was only about 60-ish employees, of which 15 to 20 were just hourly wage nobody like me. I just had the luck of the draw that my team had 4 managers in my area. I was in a role that wasn't supposed to have any management elements, but turns out that not long after I started, 3 out of the 4 on the management team moved on, and I slowly took over some of their responsibilities. After about 6 months, I was starting to feel overworked and I went job hunting. Having listed the responsibility I had with this position got me a management role somewhere else with substantially higher pay. I even got them to let me have a month before starting because I wanted to give a longer notice than 2 weeks to be nice. After I had given my 1-month notice, they were very dismissive of me leaving and acted like it wasn't a big deal. They thought they could spread out what I did among the other management teams. They were so certain that they could handle my job description of responsibilities that they even told me in writing they didn't need a transition period or training and didn't want an exit interview. They even offered me a week early leave with pay because they just thought it was handled and that I was useless. Before that week was out I was getting calls, texts, and emails from higher-ups in HR trying to tell me that I'm contractually obligated to help them transition and that if I didn't that they would sue me for breach of contract. Now the best part of this is that when I was hired I was simply an hourly employee with no special contract, besides the standard employee agreement for hourly workers, but since I had started doing management level work, everyone had assumed that I was made to sign the management contract, which had a clause in it that required management to work past their notice if the company requested it for handover training or anything the person was working on that couldn't be finished by anyone else. So within a week, they were frantically trying to get me to help them, and I had already started working with my new company half a week early, so I was ignoring their calls, texts, and emails because I was diving headfirst into my new role. Well, even after the threats I thought they would have figured out that I didn't sign that contract. About another week later I was served papers at my new office, and it shocked me honestly. I read over the paperwork and they were suing me for breach of contract and it listed a law firm on it. So I decided to call them up and ask them if they had a signed contract, and I was laughed off the phone by the law office clerk. I realize I shouldn't have called them and should have gotten my lawyer. Just 3 days later I received a certified letter from the law firm with an official apology for being served and had official documentation showing they dropped the lawsuit, and apparently, they dropped that company as a client for unethical practices. I never got another text, call, or email from anyone at that company or law firm. It felt nice that I shut down a lawsuit with a single question.